Okay, we're rolling. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman with us tonight, this afternoon. He has some good things to tell us. We all know him. I don't think I have to give out an introduction. Well, sir, tell me who you are and what's the good news you have to bring with us.
I'm David DeLong. I helped put on the Sandusky Derby. Um, been on here a few times. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here and to talk with everybody. Yeah, we do have some big news. We got some okay news, some great news, and whatnot. Things have changed a little bit this year. We initially had set out to have Loudmouth come in and do the inspections for the big cars, but unfortunately, due to some unforeseeable events, that was not able to happen. So it will be our crew that we've had for the past 4 or 5 years doing the inspections the way that we've always done them. Um, no hard feelings with Jared or his crew or any of that. It was just an unfortunate thing that happened that we have to do this way. I have people I got to answer to, and when they tell me that I got to do something a certain way, well, that's what happens. I'm
Yep.
not a promoter; I'm a volunteer. So you know, um, we do have a lot of new news. We're adding a youth heat. 12 to 17-year-olds will be allowed to run this year. A couple things that weren't in the rules, but we would like to talk about is passengers. The younger folks, guys, girls, if their parents or guardian or whatever feel more comfortable having a passenger in the car, they can set it up to run a passenger. Um, we will accommodate to that for the running and whatnot. Basically, both doors will be off. Off. You won't be able to hit both doors. Plain and simple. you know. Um,
That's the safety.
Safety thing, yeah. And they will be able to reinforce both doors, whether it be foam or filling them with foam or plating them or whatever. We'll treat the passenger side just like the driver's side.
Yep.
That is really new and something that we've needed because we've had the Power Wheels, which gets the young kids into it, but there was nothing for our teenagers and stuff like that. So I'm really happy that we're finally getting into that. And we also have a raffle car that we will be doing this year. $10 tickets. Tickets are being printed. Car is 90% done. Got a couple of little things to do. Fuel cell, which is something that we'd like to see in all the front wheel drive cars, but we're not enforcing it yet. Eventually, that's going to end up being a thing where we want to see fuel cells in all of them. But this way, people can get a good look at it and see what we've done, and we're doing not the bare minimum, but not the high end build either. We're kind of in the middle and a little bit towards the upper end of the spectrum. So
That gives you a piece of both worlds, a medium, a middle, and a high grade. So people
yeah,
that want to get into the sport, ooh, I can do that. I can do this. Okay, I can't do that. So that helps.
exactly. So I mean, and we've got a few. Trying to remember everything. Um, just general build. One of the things that I know at Iron Invasion, the front wheel drive cars were allowed 2 plates fresh for the front wheel drives. So, with that being said, our show was 4 plates, 2 per rail on used cars. So obviously those cars don't have bends under those plates, which in our rules states that you have to. So to try and come up with a happy medium, I'm going to let the fresh cars that come to Sandusky have the two plates the same as what they were allowed at Iron Invasion.
That's helpful. That's even the playing field.
Yes. Yes. Well, yeah, it just, we would normally not allow them plates on a flat spot on the frame that hasn't been bent, but considering it was already allowed per se at another event, and it was an event that we were sharing builds with, I felt it was only right to allow that on the guys that are building for Sandusky. So, whether they choose to or not, that's up to them. You know, might want to save them for after the cars ran. It's just a choice thing at this point.
Yeah.
That and window protection, windshield protection. We set a chain or wire or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and a strap. It if it ends up if you have a piece of tubing, I mean obviously not a 6x6 chunk of tubing, but if you got a 2x2 or whatever, and that's what you got laying around, we're not gonna throw a fit about it, because that's more driver safety than. Now, I'm not saying take and run driver safety wild and build everything and call it driver's safety, but we'll allow the window bar to be more than just flat stock or chain or wire.
Are you allowing that from the crowl to the up and over bar, or you're just gonna put that right on the roof and weld it in place, or how is that?
Well, weld it or bolt it. No, I don't want it going all the way to the rollover bar.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that that does strengthen the core of the car a little bit. But going to the roof and down to the firewall is fine. Don't want it running down behind the motor or anything where it could potentially keep the car from bending.
Okay.
So
That's pretty neat. Um, is there a Mad Dog purse being prized for the rear-wheel drive guys, or how's that? Because I've been
we
reading
are
Facebook,
we are
whatever. You
we
have.
are currently working on that. Um,
I mean, if
the
you want to
pet,
share it, share it. But if you don't, it's up to
well,
me.
we're trying something new. I can't 100% say what the trophy will be because we don't have it in our hands yet, but we are working on something rather unique, especially for around here. Um, Hopefully that'll work. And then we're using obviously the raffle car, and I'm pointing at it. It's here, but sorry. Um, we're going to use the money raised from that to go towards a Mad Dog and hopefully a Mad Dog for the small cars and try to get things going that way to promote a little bit harder running, to give an incentive anyways, to the guys that do run hard. Um, that is something that we are going to. Last year we had a lot of sandbagging and it was left up to the drivers. This year we're going to police it ourselves as well. Hopefully we don't have to go out there and break a stick or whatever. I never liked that. I'm not a fan of that. But
I'm hoping with this new surprise gift, whatever you want to call it, it will
yeah,
put more ambition into the drivers. Say, hey, I get to win that if I drive insane. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, if nothing else, if these guys know that their car is not going to be in the top three, it gives them something to shoot for. You know,
yeah,
or top four. I think we pay back four. But if it's not there, it's not there. So go for it. Win that
yeah,
Mad
go
Dog.
for it, whatever this
And we're
surprise
we're
is.
gonna be looking for 5 people that are not affiliated with any of the drivers that are there to watch. We're gonna put them up in the booth for the feature, and they're going to be the ones that decide who the Mad Dog is.
I kind of
Because
I mean, it kind of shows my age, but it kind of reminds me back in the mid 2000s, early 90s during Monster Jam, had them fans up in the stands with the little placards says 8 out of 10 or whatever. That's
Yeah,
what it reminds me of. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Well, the officials. We all know a lot of the drivers, and some of us are really good friends with the drivers. On the day of the Derby, we're not friends. We're civil with everybody, the same, or try to be. Um, but we don't want people to say, "Well, it was just a popularity contest," or "You knew Richard." I'm using you as an example, but I know you. You and I are friends. Um, if I say that you won it, somebody can say, "Well, you two are buddies. That's why."
Yeah,
And we don't want that. We want it so that it's as pure as we can get it.
yeah, you want to keep the bias out of it. I mean, yeah, if I bring a car, yeah, I cheated. You're gonna call me on that.
Oh,
You're not,
absolutely. I
you're
call you a
not
cheater all the time.
Well, what I'm getting at is if I build a car and I know it's cheated, you caught that. Well, I can't pull the friends card. Hey, I'm friends. Just let it slide. No,
Exactly.
don't do
No,
that.
no, that doesn't happen. And I'm fortunate. The group of friends that I have, they don't take advantage of that
Yep.
or don't try to. You know,
I
which says no.
also I also am curious since we have the blast from the past cars that are running at Sanilac County. Are you going to allow last year's motor swaps and this year's motor swaps to add to their cars to come and play, or how is that working with?
Oh yeah. I mean, a driver needs to look at the rules and see what's different. And if you have to take away, take away. If you have to add, add. I mean, I know that some of them, you know, they're not allowed DPs. They have to cut the firewall, and that sucks because that is different, and it is a lot of support. But you're also allowed on a used car 5 plates per rail. So at that point, that firewall really didn't mean as much, you know. So that part would be okay, but it's on the driver to look at the rules, read the rules. Don't read into the rules. There's a lot of that going on, and more so than there used to be. I think around here, I know that things are a little different in our area. People know that we're very strict on what is black and white and what is gray. You know, but you read them and see what you can change and make worthwhile for you to run, and we're always willing to work with as far as understanding the difference in the builds and so on and so forth.
I was just
Um,
I had to ask that because I was curious because I look around on the internet and this show's doing a motor swap class. This show's doing blah 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 blah. Okay, well, Sanilac County is 2 months away, give or take.
and
Some of
heavy build.
some of
It
these
is
drivers.
it is a heavy build. We probably moving forward we'll dial it back some. Um, it's Derby. Derby evolves and changes all the time. I don't like changing the rules very much, but we still haven't found a set of rules that we're 100% comfortable with and
Okay.
that the drivers are 100% comfortable with. I don't know if we'll ever find that, but I'd like to find a good set that the majority are happy with.
Yeah, I
And
just like I said, I just wanted to ask that because looking around, like Sandusky's like almost the last show of the year. I mean, you got fall shows and everything like that, but it's like, okay, well, I have blank car sitting in my garage. I want to call Dave DeLong and see what I can do.
absolutely. And we have, yeah, we're towards the end of the year, so we're darn near the cleanup shows or into the cleanup shows. Um and 5 plates per frame rail. I mean, that's a pretty good build if you've got a used car and you're wanting to finish it off. So absolutely.
And these drivers can get a hold of you and
Yeah, yeah. It's always best to text me first.
okay.
Just give me a shout on texting me and saying, "Hey, this is so and so. I want to talk to you real quick."
Okay.
And nothing that I receive from a text or a phone call from people ever is, like I've had drivers say before, "Well, I wanted to ask you a question, but I didn't want, everybody to know what I was thinking of doing." Well, I don't share that stuff. So that is something that the only people that I share it with are my officials, and it's not made public knowledge.
100% confidentiality.
Yes, sir.
Um I want to go back to the beginning because I think I forgot something to ask you. How are you doing the youth tech? Is there anything different on that, or how are you doing teching in general?
Everything's going to be a lot different. Um, well, I shouldn't say a lot different because we're still going to be just as strict as we've been. That's something that we have taken pride in. And I think that people are starting to respect the fact that we are pretty stubborn when it comes to what we have and what we're doing and where we want to be. We want everybody on the same playing field. Um, we plan on roping off a section, and there's nobody going to be in that section. The driver will pull the car in, go up on the ramp, and get down, let us do our inspection. We'll do our inspection and talk to the driver and go on from there. Um, People are more than willing to be around the area that is roped off, but not in the area just because you don't need 50 people there telling you, you know, all leaning around the car yelling at you that this, or this, or it's distracting to the people that are trying to do their job and make everything fair. So that's how I feel about
Okay, interesting note. So anyone that's gonna come to Sandusky is gonna be it's gonna be different, being roped off and
it. It is, and we're also trying to take the two tracks and or one track and make two tracks out of it to help speed things up a little bit. Um, I know that people in the crowd have have been. They say it takes too long to get the cars out, which it takes a little bit. I mean, it's not an easy task, and you don't want to wreck. I know it sounds silly, but you don't want to wreck somebody's derby car getting it out because they can either a come into a consi or b into the feature. Um, so they have to be careful on what they're doing. They don't. You can't just slam into it and drive it out. I mean, there's guys that got tens of thousands of dollars into their drivetrain, let alone you know. So what we're thinking is setting up two tracks for the heats and the youth heat and possibly the consolation, and then removing that and then running the front wheel drive feature and the rear wheel drive feature
it's gonna
on
be
the full track.
that's gonna be different. But like you said, it's gonna speed things up. And you're gonna have two entrants or just one entrance?
We are working on the logistics of putting in a second entrance
Okay.
so that cars can enter on each side. And it would be nice for the feature too because you can run them in both sides or you can run them in one and out the other, and that'll help speed up the removal when we go to full size track.
Yeah, like Heat B over by the Baby Animal Barn. If you've ever been to Sandusky, you should know. Heat B by Baby Animal Barn, Heat A by the pits, and it just
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
You
And
hear?
we won't line anybody up on the divider wall just in case, somebody gets launched over it or through it. I mean, I've seen some of these other shows that do this and it happens. And they don't line up on the wall. They keep them separated. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good time. It starts a little earlier than normal. Um, got it in my rules. Excuse me, I didn't have them unclipped. I wasn't ready for that. We are starting at 6, and tech will be from 10 a.m. to 3:30.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we run a little over on tech, that's fine. But we plan on having plenty of time for everybody to get their stuff done, relax, unwind, and get ready for the show.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet. I think it's going to be a good year. I at this point I don't know what else to say. I think it's going to be interesting year with everything. 2 tracks at Sanilac County. It's going to be an amazing year, Dave.
yeah.
Um Maybe when the raffle car is done, you can post some pictures on Facebook if you can and give the folks in this community a little taste on what's the raffle car looks like or
Yes. And it is a limited amount of tickets. It's 500, which sounds like a lot initially until you think about if you played the lottery. These are very good odds versus playing the lotto or something like that. And they're only $10.
yeah.
So $10 a piece for a ticket for a chance to drive a car. That's a pretty good. I mean, I'd like to be able to run one for $10. I mean,
Yeah.
you build cars, Richard. If you could build a car and run it for $10, you'd be a happy camper. I think you'd run probably about 30 a year.
Yeah.
So
Are you limiting the tickets like $10 just for one ticket or are you
yes,
like
it's just keeping it simple, $10 per ticket, and yeah, when they're gone, they're gone. There won't be the ability to purchase more. So
you better be that one person out of 500 to
yep.
win this thing?
Hey, you want to buy a whole book of them? That's fine. It's $100.
How
It's
many's on
10
a book?
entries. 10 entries.
Oh, 10 entries.
10 entries, $10 a piece. Yep.
Oh,
Book.
that's
So
that's not
I've
bad.
seen people do it before with other raffles where they'll just buy the whole book and be done with it. You know. So
I can't wait. This is gonna be fun. I want to thank you for hopping on here, Dave, to talk
yes,
about Sanilac County and things that are going to happen. Yeah. Enjoy
I
your
appreciate
afternoon, Dave, and
you as well,
yeah,
and I appreciate you having me on. I enjoy it. Um, and hopefully, when things settle down a little bit more and we get closer, we can come back on and touch base with you and everybody out there watching, and
yeah.
just let everybody know what's going on. Maybe I'll hopefully have the Mad Dog Prize by then.
And maybe when it
And
gets
I'm
closer, we can get another thing and another interview, and you can really show what's brewing under that hat of yours.
yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you again. You have a
All
wonderful
right.
day, and I will stay in touch and have a nice evening.
Thanks. You too.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Right. And I might need help. I think since this is busted, I don't think this is gonna. No, it's not. Oops.